The title of my workshop at Agora was Sensitive Observers, and the content of the workshop was how we are the world, which was also the subtitle of it, how we are the world and how we can create a platform for it. So, said in brief, it was a workshop about participatory art and how we can make designs for certain communities, for certain people and institutions. So the methodology of my workshop was actually very much like my own practice, very self-organized, mixed with a lot of improvisation, which also means tailoring as we go along, which was what I did with the workshop group. How the workshop concretely relates to my artwork is very much, and this might sound a bit abstract, but empty space. And this is also something we spoke a lot about in the workshop. What kind of empty space am I given to participate in? One of the projects that I work with is, for example, that I ask people, what is the most violent film scene you have ever seen? Tell me about it. And then after the whole film scene has been recreated from memory and through the speaking of the participants, him or herself, I then asked the participant, who would you play? If you were to play in a reenactment of the scene, would you then play the perpetrator, the victim, or the bystander? So many of them, I think and I hope, were becoming a little bit more open towards their own patterns of thinking. I mean, that they shattered their own cognitive patterns, so to say. That's what I'm out for, because that's what I constantly try to do in my own work is, who am I? No, now I want to be this, or I want to be nobody, or I want to be this, or I change, or I try to make myself as a tool, or try to objectify myself. Many of the exercises that we did throughout the workshop was, I introduced them to metaphorical creative writing, in the sense that one of the exercises was that I asked the group to imagine that their works were censored, that they were not allowed to show their artwork, so they had to describe the artwork in without showing it. So we actually spoke a whole exhibition. The participants themselves, they also introduced exercises. One that I really liked, which was a warm-up exercise, was throw the glance at people. And it's really just, you're a group of people and you sit around a table and you just start looking at people and you throw the look back and and then there's system and patterns and throwing back, or you mirror, and it's super simple exercise, but you get closer and you really relate to that other person who you sit in front of. Another exercise that we also did was becoming aware of our own breathing. And this is inspired from philosophy, that one says that if you breathe slowly, your thoughts can philosophize. You can make philosophy, but if you breathe fast, you're just survival. You're in survival mode. And all of these exercises, mine and also the participants, were going towards the goal to expand our cognitive patterns of thinking. And this was something I wanted to do, because the way we think, if we know how we think, we work better with other people. If we don't know it, and I know I sound very ethical right now, but if we don't know it, we risk also to have a failure in communication. We risk that we impose art on places where it shouldn't be imposed. And we risk also to lose the interaction and the exchange. So a funny anecdote or a funny story to tell was when we had the evaluation in the end of the workshop. I had an outburst to the participants and I said, "How was it to be in my work?" And what I meant with that was that I think as an artist, we tailor everything around us relating to our own art practices, of course. And the personality that I have, you can feel that in the structure of the design that I offer in a workshop. And it took them a while before they realized what I was talking about, but then we spoke a little bit about it, and I related it back to the metaphor, which is expanding how we think about works and artworks.